In this video, I'm going to show you how to replace your CV axle on the right side of your Mercedes-Benz C300. It's located behind the front wheel. Using a 17mm socket, we're going to remove our wheel. So you have a hand on the top. Remove your wheel. We're going to remove our wire here from this bracket. We're going to take out our ABS sensor, and we're going to take our caliper off the rotor and hang it up. Let's start with this. And then we'll go to our speed sensor. Remove your bolt for your ABS sensor with a 10mm socket. Once you remove the bolt, you can remove your speed sensor and just set it off to the side. Now we're going to remove our caliper. Using an 18mm socket, we're going to remove our 2 bolts for our caliper. Make sure that you have a good hand on your caliper as you remove it. And let's hang it up. Now we're going to use an E24 inverted Torx bit socket. You're going to put it on there, give it a little tap, make sure it's seated right, and now we're going to remove our axle bolt. I'm going to use a 21mm socket on the nut side of the bolt, and for the head side of the bolt, I'm using an E18 inverted Torx bit. Let's remove our bolts. I'm going to leave that bolt in there for now and get this other one out. Same sizes. Remove that nut. And now we're going to remove both bolts. I'm just going to tap them out. Let's remove our bolts with our punch. Push in on the top of the rotor to get it out the rest of the way. And now you can take out your lower one as well. Now we're going to slowly let the knuckle down a little bit. And we're going to put our axle bolt back in and tap out the axle. So now we have our axle nut in a couple threads. I'm going to use a dead blow hammer and just give it a couple of taps. Now that it's free, we're going to take our bolt out. Now we're ready to take this axle out. Now we're going to pry down a little bit. Now we're going to remove our axle from our knuckle. Put your pry bar up in between the transmission and the CV axle. There's a little spot there between the frame of the car. And you're going to put it up there, and you're going to push on the pry bar really hard, really quickly, and it should pop it out. You've got to have a pry bar that's has the right angle and thinness to it in order to get it in there correctly. Once it pops out, you might want to persuade it a little bit more to get it completely out. And now we're going to go on the other end and take it out. Pull it out. Put your axle in. You got to feed it past that sway bar. And you may have to turn it a little bit to avoid your knuckle. And as you insert it in, you do want to make sure it's lined up properly with the spline. And once you know you're lined up, you can push it in a little bit more. And then you got to get it past that retaining ring. You're going to give it a good tap. And you will feel it go in. It'll pop in. Getting it past that C-clip or retaining ring. Just check your work by looking underneath and make sure it's flush. Now that you're sure you're in, you're going to put your axle into the knuckle. Just be careful of your ABS sensor. Line it up. And then turn your knuckle accordingly. Push the knuckle in. Now you can put your punch in just to hold things in place. And now we're going to put our axle bolt in. Let's get our bolt started. Once you get your punch in there, you'll have an easier time lining your bolts up. You might need a second one just to turn your knuckle a little bit. There we go. Give that a little tap. Once you're mostly through, you can get your top one in. Take that punch out a little bit. You're going to push in on that rotor. There we go. Get that bottom one in. Now we can put our nuts on. All right, so let's snug these up. Start with the one on the bottom first. Make sure you don't hit that wire. Torque it to 73 foot-pounds and then let it go another quarter of a turn. Do the same to the top. Make sure you have something holding the other side so it doesn't move. We're going to torque the top one to 73 foot-pounds. Once it's torqued, you're going to go another quarter of a turn. Now we're going to tighten up our axle bolt, the new one that comes with the axle. We're going to use a 27mm socket to do that. After we tighten it, we're going to put our caliper back on and everything else, and then we'll torque this at the end when the wheel is on. Don't go too tight with this. Just tighten it till it bottoms out. You don't want to over tighten. Let's put our caliper on our rotor and get our bottom bolt started. Start that bottom bolt and get your top one in. We're going to snug these up and torque them to 84 foot-pounds. And now we're going to torque those to 84 foot-pounds. I'm going to remove our hanger. If you used one, remove it now. Put your wire in there, and let's put our bolt in for our ABS sensor. Put your sensor in and the bolt. You're going to start that by hand, and we're going to snug it up. You don't want to open tighten this. but you do want to tighten it to about wrist tight. We're going to torque this to 115 foot-pounds first. As you can see, I have my pry bar between two lug studs that I put in the bottom, and then I have a pry bar holding this still. After you torque that to 115, you're going to back it off, loosen it up. I'm going to hold my pry bar where it is. And now we're going to go back the other way. Now we're going to torque it to 88 foot-pounds. And now we're going to go another quarter of a turn. Now you can remove your pry bar. Now you can remove your lug bolts. Put your wheel on. You're going to line up the hole and get your lug nut started. Get the rest started. Now we're going to snug them up. Do not over tighten. We're going to do that in a star-like pattern. We're going to torque our wheels to 96 foot-pounds, and we're going to do that in a star-like pattern.
When only the best will do, demand TRQ. The only company that lets you view before you do. TRQ is committed to offering the highest quality aftermarket auto parts that are engineered for peace of mind. Thanks for using and viewing with TRQ.